I have been doing a few months of European work lately, and I have been asked by so many of you, what's the difference between driving in the UK and the EU? Is it good? Is it bad? What's it like? Well, in this video, I'm gonna share my own thoughts and experiences so you can make up your own mind if it's worth switching to European work. I have divided the differences into a few categories, so without no particular order, I'm going to start with the driving experience. Well, to be honest, not a lot of people are doing 70 or 80 kilometers an hour on the motorways in Europe. That's definitely more like more common in the UK, especially on the motorways close to the big cities. But of course, it's not a general rule. Driving is driving. You get good drivers and bad drivers anywhere. So I wouldn't say there's a big difference there. Now, when it comes to truck drivers, I found them a little bit more respectful in the EU. There's not a lot of tailgating or pushing, but that's probably due to increased police activity, especially in countries like Germany or Austria, but we will get to that a little bit later. Also, there's not a lot of flashing after you overtake someone. I mean, what the hell is that? That's definitely a UK thing, especially you Scania boys. We all know you have 8 million lights factory fitted, but why do you have to flash someone in when it's pitch dark outside and temporarily blind other drivers? I just don't get it. Stop doing that. Now, speaking of Europe, I have a small problem. I am in Eastern Europe, in Romania, and because it's a constant 30 to 35 degrees, I need another fridge. There's nothing wrong with the one I have. It did serve me well for 3 years now, but I just need another one to fit under my bench. There is no Amazon or eBay in Romania, but there is another marketplace which will deliver to Romania, and fast too. This fridge arrived in 3 days, and this video is sponsored by AliExpress. This is a 35-liter Vivo compressor fridge, and as you can see, it's extremely similar to the other fridge that I have. It goes down to minus 20 degrees, and it only uses about 35 watts on eco mode, so it's great for all off-grid situations. It has 2 compartments. The large one will freeze if you require to, and the small one on the top will just chill. Quiet and reliable, cheap, and can be delivered anywhere that is possible thanks to AliExpress. AliExpress is a global online retail service that offers a vast selection of products ranging from electronics to home appliances, fashion and more. Known for its affordable prices and diverse range of items, AliExpress connects buyers and sellers from around the world. One of the standout features of AliExpress is its impressive shipping capabilities, delivering products to nearly every corner of the globe. Whether you're in a bustling city or a remote village, AliExpress ensures that your purchases reach you, making it a convenient and reliable platform for shoppers worldwide. Check out the links in the description for coupons and discount codes. Definitely worth to check them out, especially if you want a good quality and affordable car refrigerator. Now, what about the services? Well, there is no comparison there. The services in the UK suck. Expensive, unsafe. I mean, I wouldn't tramp in the UK. So many times companies are not paying for parking and services, so drivers are forced to sleep like on laybys on A roads or God knows where. It's just ridiculous. Now, even though countries like Germany have one service area every 10 kilometers, probably, it's not guaranteed that you will find a place to park. After 5 p.m, you will definitely struggle to find a spot. It is overcrowded, but if you find a spot, you can be sure you will have decent facilities around. Fresh drinking water is at your disposal in countries like Germany or France or Austria. Decent food at most rest areas, and good and cheap coffee, especially in Italy. I remember spending some weekends in France and they had like this little barbecue pits, so you can fry up your own meat. Had some good times there. And the bad thing in Germany, for example, is you will have to pay for to use the facilities. It's just a few cents, but you will get your money back as a voucher, so you can spend it in the shop. Now, what about the traffic? Obviously, it depends where you live in the UK and what kind of route do you have. It can be good or horrible. As you probably know, I live in Liverpool, and around there it's not that bad, but as soon as you approach Manchester, Leeds, or you go down south, the M6 to Birmingham, most of the times it's a nightmare. I'm not even mentioning the M25 because it truly deserves its name as the world's biggest car park. I've been lucky enough for the last few years to have long distance runs up to Scotland. And that's probably one of the few roads in the UK which rarely have traffic or hold-ups, but no day is like the other, so when shit hits the fan, it's bad everywhere. In Germany, they have their never-ending roadworks, especially on the A3, and during the day it's a nightmare. Also, rush hour traffic in Germany is probably worse than anywhere, but in countries like France or Italy, where you have to pay to go on the motorway, usually it's not that bad. Probably my favorite country to drive is in France. They have good motorways and services. Now, what about police activity and checks? We all fear the dreaded DVSA or VOSA in the UK, but I'll tell you honestly, they are nothing compared to the BAG in Germany or Austrian or Italian police. When you get pulled over by the BAG in Germany, you better have all your stuff together, as they are not playing around. Everything has to be perfect with your taco card, all your documents have to be impeccable, everything filled out and ready to be checked. You can be fined for every single infringement on your card on the last 28 days. That will include overspeeds, but they can also check your speed diagram. In Italy, for example, for every single peak over 90 kilometers an hour, you can be fined 300 euros. I've heard some horror stories, especially in Italy. Like I was saying, you always have to be impeccable. In the UK, I have been stopped quite a few times. Most of the times when I had my own truck registered in Romania, I was like a magnet for them going up the M6. Pulled every time, had a few minor infringements, like going over my work period because of the ferry crossings and all that. But they didn't care about anything minor like that. I've never had a fine or even a warning. So I can definitely say that the officers in the UK are much more tolerable, as long as it's nothing too bad or they don't see like a pattern in your infringements. You can definitely get away with it. Another thing to consider is the different speed limits in Europe. Like in Germany and Italy, for example, the speed limit is 80 kilometers an hour. Now, it is tolerable up to 83, 85, but after that you are taking some chances. The Germans also do checks on your safety distance from you to the vehicle in front of you. They have drones, and they can see how far are you from the truck in front, and the fines are ridiculous, so just be careful. How welcoming are different countries? I'll say it straight up. The least welcomed I've ever felt was in Germany and France. But probably because I always used to show up in my own truck with Romanian plates, but I won't get too much into that. But other than that, all countries I've been in, I felt good and respected, including in the UK. That's probably I've stayed here for more than 6 years so far. How is the pay in the EU? From what I've heard recently, wages in EU has started to go up. About 6 or 7 years ago, when I moved into the UK, the UK was one of the best countries to work in as a truck driver, except probably Norway or Sweden. Now, of course, depending on what you are doing, the pay is the same or even more in Europe, from what I've heard. Would I recommend European Union work for someone who only drove in the UK? I will say yes, but only if you have like at least 5 years of experience. You really have to be confident in what you are doing. You have to know so many different laws. You have to do a lot of paperwork, and it's also important to have good navigational skills. The roads can be very narrow, especially in countries like Italy or France. Be very aware of every sign you see on the roads and make sure you stick to the local laws. They do differ country to country. As for driving on the opposite side of the road, I would say you will get used to it in a few hours or even in a few days. The simplest trick I can tell you is just follow the car in front. Stay on the same side as him, but if you have a right hook, it can be a bit more challenging to reverse it on the base. The truth is, there's no perfect country. It's not a perfect place to drive in the European Union, nor in the UK. They all have good things and bad things. But for the experiences, getting out of your routine and your comfort zone, I would say it's definitely worth have a shot. And I'm sure you will create some nice memories. Thanks for watching, hope it helped, and I'll see you next time.